Lettuce and pickled cucumber melon, milk snow, and charred lace.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, great.
At least we get a good taste of our supporting characters here.
Hey guys, my name's Dan, and today's reaction comes from Dead Meat. This is The Menu 2022 Kill Count, and considering this cast and what this movie was about, I was very, very angry with myself, the fact that I didn't even know about this movie's existence until James said he was going to cover it. I mean, we have Anna Taylor-Joy, who was, of course, in The Queen's Gambit and Last Night at Soho, excuse me, and also Ralph Fiennes, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Apologize if I'm not. He's freaking Lord Voldemort for those of you who are fans of Harry Potter, and if you were classic cinema fans as well, there's Schindler's List, which was freaking great in itself. Then you have Nicholas Hoult, who was what I felt a very underrated zombie movie in Warm Bodies. Freaking love that movie so much. And of course, John freaking Leguizamo was in this. That man needs no introduction from me. So with all of these characters and all these actors being in this movie and being what this movie was about, will that make it a good one? Does that make it a very fun watch for me? Well, I'll get to that a little later on in this video. But before we do, though, please do check all of those links I have for you down in the description below. More specifically, the Dead Meat link, if you haven't already. It's a great way to support the entire Dead Meat team, and a great and easy way to support me is to go right below this video, click all those buttons down there, because I want to let you see future reactions that I do, but I'll help my channel to grow. Without any further ado, let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the
I love
victims in all our
that.
favorite horror movies and show you how they were made. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at The Menu, released in 2022. The Menu is set in an ultra-exclusive restaurant where the staff has sinister intentions for their wealthy customers. It ridicules several aspects of fine dining culture, from snobby food critics to pretentious plating. I'm not personally a part of the foodie world this movie parodies, but I am familiar with it thanks to my housemate, collaborator, and best man, James Gressel, who joined us when we covered this movie on the podcast. I highly recommend you listen to that to hear the insanely specific details this movie gets right.
Wow,
also, check
okay.
out D&D, our Dinner D&D podcast, where Gressel DMs a story almost as old as the Kill Count at this point. It's fun hearing him become more and more familiar with stuff like, I don't know, emulsions and shit. Despite my secondhand familiarity with the subject matter, The Menu is one of my favorites from the holy horror year of 2022. Honestly,
pretty good.
Probably top 5. It has an immaculate cast, with everyone down to the side characters playing their parts perfectly. The outstanding ensemble is led by a pair of the year's best villains, Chef Julian Slowik and Elsa, his maitre d'. Ray Fine and Hong Chow are
Ray Fine, okay.
And on a rewatch, when you know all these characters and their relationships, you really see how every line of dialogue has dual meaning, or at least illustrates who these people are. The
100%.
Menu is effective with its horror, a slow boil that builds to a roiling nightmare for the patrons. But it's also a great comedy. Don't be fooled by the trailer lines you hear early on.
We liquefy, we spherify, we gel.
They gel?
We gel.
It ends up being hilariously dark. The humor and suspense are equal ingredients here.
It's all part of the menu.
How many kills will get served up in this kitchen nightmare?
A bunch.
I believe we have a reservation
kitchen
to find
nightmare.
out. The movie begins with an invitation to a title card. Accepting that invitation is Tyler, a little rich boy who fancies himself quite the foodie.
It's the balance of the products. You need the mouthfeel of the mignonette.
The same cannot be said for his working-class gal pal Margot Mills.
Nope.
Please don't say mouthfeel.
Margot is played by Anya Taylor-Joy, last seen on the Kill Count in The Vivitch, while Tyler is played by Renfield himself, Nicholas Hoult. Tyler's taking Margot to Hawthorne, a trendy restaurant where the meal is $1,200 a person. It's so exclusive they have to take a boat to get there, since the restaurant is on a tiny private island. While checking in, Margot learns her reservation was originally meant for Tyler's previous girlfriend. A little awkward, though not as awkward as him trying to make her smell his finger. Doofy, stop! Hawthorne's made it also leads the guests on a tour of the island's facilities, and shows them how the whole staff lives together in a culty bomb shelter. Well, everyone except head chef Julian Slowik, who lives in his own dope-ass off-limits cottage. Pretty impressive, but Margot's more preoccupied with Richard Liebert, another guest she seemed to recognize on the boat.
Fuck.
Before we can pull at that plot thread, it's time for dinner and a show, where the show is also, dinner. First up is the amuse-bouche, a bouche-daggy way to say appetizer. Or more specifically, a somehow even douchier way to say hors d'oeuvre.
Yep.
It's, I don't know, what the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Lettuce and pickled cucumber melon, milk snow, and charred lace.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, great.
At least we get a good taste of our supporting characters here, all played
Love that
pitch
look in his
perfectly by
face.
their performers. Snobby food critic Lillian Bloom and her editor/toady Ted are insufferable, constantly commenting with snide asides. Finance bros Soren, Dave, and Bryce are so-called power tasters who treat the whole thing like a status experience. They're boisterous and arrogant, since they work for Doug Varick, who owns the restaurant and this entire island.
Working money. Yeah, baby.
We're pathetic, aren't we?
Oh my God.
Yup.
Somebody shoot us.
John Leguizamo plays a washed-up actor who's only called movie star in the end credits. Though
That's
you can
great.
catch his name as George Diaz thanks to his assistant Felicity, who's trying to quit working for him. Chef Slowick makes his entrance. No, not that entrance. That's not what I meant, guys. And introduces the first course of the meal with a thunderclap. This dish is an undersea overture of scallops and seaweed, served upon a tasteful rock. It represents the island itself, using its flora, its rocks, and even its seawater. The way Chef describes it, he sounds like an ecological nihilist, saying none of them matter in the face of nature's beauty and harmony.
We are but a frightened nanosecond. Nature is timeless. Enjoy.
After the patrons enjoy their saltwater cubes or whatever, Slowick presents the second course with a history lesson. He says bread has been around for a dozen millennia and is often associated with the poor, which introduces the catch. Since bread is for the working man, these rich bitches ain't getting nothing but spreads. Margot sees it as a dig at their expense.
He's basically insulting you.
But Tyler ignores her, content to just dig in. Though they're parodic, these courses do feel authentic thanks to the involvement of French chef Dominique Crenn, the first woman to win 3 Michelin stars for a U.S. restaurant.
Oh,
Crenn
nice!
crafted each of the menu's courses, basically in character as Chef Slowick, giving them all an emotional coldness to reflect their fictional creator. She also spent more than a day with Ralph Fiennes just talking through how a chef would behave in a kitchen. To make the courses look the part, they were shot by filmmaker David Gelb, who made the fantastic Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Oh, that's
As
awesome!
second unit director, he filmed the presentation
Really cool.
vignettes after production wrapped, sometimes in Adam McKay's office. The style here is just like in Chef's Table, Gelb's popular Netflix series. The show was even referenced by Tyler, who's a fan.
I mean, I've watched every fucking episode of Chef's Table 2 or 3 times.
Many of the cast actually used Chef's Table to research the world of fine dining. The insulting sauces don't sit well with the finance bros. Soren tries to pull rank for some bread, unironically saying to Elsa, "You know who we are, right?" She certainly does, as if her contempt of everyone on the guest list wasn't clear from her eyes.
Yeah, seriously.
She openly admits it to him with a sinister whisper.
Oh, yeah.
You'll eat less than you desire and more than you deserve.
So good!
To give some extra love to another guest, whom he reveals as his perpetually drunken mother. He recounts a time from his childhood during a fateful Taco Tuesday when his drunken father began strangling his mom. To stop him, Slowick stabbed his dad in the thigh with a pair of scissors. Oof, can't unring that Taco Bell. This
Nope.
dramatic taco tale serves as the basis for the next dish, with cutlery courtesy of the Tethered. All the movie's plating was done by food stylist Kendall Gensler, who made sure each dish looked authentically high-end. However, even though it looked great, the food was often gross by the time the cast had to eat it.
Oh, I
You
can
can tell we
imagine.
can act our asses off because we make that
Yeah.
those cold props
Yeah,
look,
yeah, yeah.
look delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anya
can imagine
Taylor-Joy
so.
says Nicholas Hoult impressively committed to actually eating everything. The only time it got bad, he said, was downing all the oily sauces. The tortillas for these tacos are personalized with laser-engraved images. Lillian's features restaurants that closed due to her bad reviews, and receives some edible, credible evidence of her husband's affairs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
John Leguizamo is reminded of a crappy movie he did that flopped. Should have been the pest. Tyler's tortillas call him out
Remember
for
that one.
snapping food pics, which was explicitly against the rules, making this a sort of you lose good day sir moment. The business boys have it even worse though, since their tortillas feature evidence of fraud committed by their boss and
Whoopsie.
Slowick's angel investor Doug Varick.
What the hell are these?
These are tortillas. Tortillas deliciosas.
With the evening's mood beginning to sizzle, Slowick brings out his sous chef Jeremy Ludin. Jeremy's the brains behind the fourth course, the mess. Slowick describes Jeremy's talents like Homer Simpson talking about an animatronic show.
He's very good. But he's not great.
He says Jeremy will never aspire to greatness, partly because his passion has been crushed by the food service industry. After a couple of goodbye kisses, Jeremy quits his job by making a mess of his mind matter in the first kill of the film. This jarring act of violence is the point at which it's finally nakedly clear that things are fucked.
Yeah, because I love movies that, like, things aren't exactly what they seem. So when the moments like this happens, and I love the fact that they didn't, like, immediately go there. They were just sort of, like, alluding to the fact that, oh, things aren't what they seem here. What's off here? What's going to happen? And it didn't happen until this guy just freaking did that, and they call it a mess. Whoo, that was good.
Panic ensues amongst the guests, although Hawthorne's staff remains strictly professional.
And here we have a biodynamic Cabernet Franc from our friends at Domaine Breton.
Oh, glad to see Peter Gross still thriving in the restaurant industry.
Peter Piper picked a pack of perfect pretzels.
Hold up.
Yay!
Your last name is Piper?
Richard and Anne try to make a hasty exit,
Remember those
but they're
commercials.
stopped by Elsa and some beefy busboys. Elsa's done with niceties, so as punishment, one of Dick's digits
Next
is
point.
promptly locked
Boom!
off. That doesn't deter the business boys and the movie star from plotting an escape, but their plan goes so poorly that the staff doesn't even bother punishing them.
No.
Please let me help you back to your table.
Margot is pulled aside for a meeting with Slowick,
Demoralize immediately.
who's upset about the surprise guest at this deadly dinner party. She hasn't been eating any of the food and has been unimpressed with all the highfalutin hullabaloo. Margot's the only person here who's refreshingly grounded, treating the staff like actual human beings.
He knew my name, babe.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't ask his name.
Yeah, well, you know.
Class commentary is all over the menu,
Sure
which
is.
isn't surprising given the team behind it. Director Mark Mylod and co-writer Will Tracy both worked on Succession alongside producers Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. Tracy was inspired to write the story for the menu after dining at Cornelius Seafood Restaurant, an island restaurant in Norway. He co-wrote the script with Seth Reese, who drew on his satirical experience as head writer of The Onion. Slowick has noticed that Margot's an outsider, so gives her 15 minutes to decide whether she belongs with the guests or with the restaurant staff, the takers or the givers. Not that it ultimately matters.
We're all gonna die tonight. Isn't that right?
The actors playing Slowick's army of Sioux soldiers underwent a week-long kitchen boot camp to properly act the part. It was run by Dominique Kren, second AD Lauren Candela, and John Bandhace, a chef local to Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, perfect.
Hawthorne's exteriors were played by various islands around Savannah, while the restaurant's interior was a set. Everything seen out those giant windows was comped in to replace a blue screen. Over a flowery palate cleanser, Chef Slowick explains to the customers why they're there. Each of them represents a part of the restaurant industry he despises. Lillian and Ted's magazine has destroyed the careers of several chefs, while Richard and Anne's wealth allows them to casually eat at Hawthorne without appreciating the food. They can't even remember a single dish
Nope,
after
not
11
a single
visits.
one.
Cod.
Cod? It wasn't cod, you donkey. It was halibut.
The trio of Chads work for Doug Varick, the investor who bought Hawthorne during COVID, but treated it like an investment rather than an artistic endeavor. That's why Varick is the next guest of honor. The guests see him strung up over the sea in a pair of symbolic angel wings. On Elsa's signal, the fallen angel commences. Varick is slowly lowered into the ocean to drown in front of the horrified guests. Margot's timer goes off, so she's brought to meet Slowick in his office. He correctly identifies her as a sex worker, referring to it exclusively as a fellow service job. But that means Margot isn't Tyler's girlfriend, just a date he hired for the evening since the restaurant doesn't seat parties of one, except drunk moms. This reveal is great and recontextualizes a lot of earlier lines and reactions.
It's your dime. Tyler, you're the customer. You're paying him to serve you. Doesn't really matter whether he likes you or not.
Right. Wait, what is that?
Nothing.
Margot also
Yep.
reveals that Richard Liebrant was a previous
Perfect.
client who hired her to play out a disgusting incest fantasy. That shades in one of his wife's lines, talking about how Margot resembles their daughter.
Really? Does look like Claire.
The only plot hole there is that fucking nobody looks like Anya Taylor-Joy. Come on. Sloan
No.
and Margot have a candid
gorgeous.
combo where they both say they no longer enjoy the service they provide. But that table talk is tabled to continue the dinner. The guests are let outside for some fresh air and the next course/event entitled Man's Folly. Sous Chef Catherine Keller recounts an incident where Chef Slowick sexually harassed her, shielded from consequence by his celebrity status. To make amends, Slowick allows her to stab him in the thigh, the same place he stabbed his father many Taco Tuesdays ago. The group makes like a pie chart and breaks down by gender, with the men given a chance to escape the island on foot. It's another trailer moment, but I do love how Soren blows their head start.
If they do catch... Okay.
Yep. You can go. At this
45
whole
seconds
explanation.
starts now.
While the
Oh,
waitstaff
boy.
play hide and seek with the men, Catherine leads the women inside for their own special meal. The ladies get to air out some dirty French laundry. Anne confirms Richard's previous affair with Margot, while Catherine reveals the extent of her creative control.
Oh, everyone dying was my pitch, actually. Super proud of it.
She says the menu only works if they all die in the end. It's the only way to tie the whole concept together. You know, like a good rug. Margot fesses
Sure.
up that her real
Same
name is
thing.
actually Erin, but I'm gonna do what the other characters do and keep calling her Margot. The men are summarily tagged and bagged. Chicken Shit Ted staying hidden the longest among the chicken shit.
A special bite for the last guest to be caught.
Once everyone is led
So
inside
good.
and back to their seats, Slowick takes a moment to single out Tyler. He says that Tyler was invited since he's a self-proclaimed foodie, but unlike the other guests, Tyler was told ahead of time about the night's twist. That explains his nonchalant reactions when shit started hitting the fan. That also means he hired Margot to come with him, knowing that she would be killed. It's a
Yeah.
scummy reveal
Such a dick
consistent
move.
with Tyler's entitlement over the people and places he pays for.
Tyler, you need to apologize to me right now. You cannot speak to me that way.
Actually, I can, because ding dong, I'm the one who's paying, so maybe shut up and eat.
Margot is rightfully pissed,
Boom!
but Slowick says Tyler is a special boy. He even gets to wear a chef's jacket. And look at that, it's personalized. Things take a turn when
just like
Slowick
James.
asks Tyler to cook something. He gathers all the warm bodies into the kitchen to watch
Ah,
Tyler
warm
cook like a
bodies,
college
there it is.
freshman. The resulting dish is Tyler's bullshit, with its signature ingredient of utter lack of cohesion. To
Ugh,
finalize this
everything
humiliation,
raw.
Slowick tells Tyler the real reason he was invited.
You are why the mystery has been drained from our art.
With a gentle whisper from Chef, Tyler turns in his jacket and descends into Hell's Kitchen.
Time to
What
die.
Chef
Hell's
whispered is
Kitchen.
never revealed, but it clearly made an impact since Tyler is shortly found hanging out in the closet,
Yeah, he's just
moving
chilling.
himself from the menu like oh so many delicious Taco Bell items. Slowick thinks Margot might be more helpful in the kitchen, and before you know it, she's reciting their motto.
Yes, chef.
He asks her to fetch a barrel, a task he claims Elsa forgot to do. While she gets her hands dirty outside, John Leguizamo speaks up, since he's the only guest who still doesn't know why he's here. Hilariously, Slowick reveals he just hated the actor's movie Calling Dr. Sunshine. He could tell Leguizamo treated the role like a paycheck instead of an expression of art. Pretty petty, although not quite as petty as the reasoning for Felicity.
What school did you go to?
Brown?
Student loans?
Nope.
I'm sorry, you're dying.
In earlier scripts, Leguizamo's character was a fictionalized Daniel Radcliffe, whose Rotten Tomato of a role was Igor in 2015's Victor Frankenstein. Leguizamo wasn't the only recasting either. Margot was originally set to be played by Emma Stone, who left due to conflicts with other projects. You couldn't ask for a better cast than this one.
Nope.
though. And they all said Mylod ran a warm and welcoming set that fostered creativity and collaboration. Seriously, they said it so many times in my research, and I love to hear stuff like
That's
that.
awesome.
Mylod took a few cues from his work on Succession, like treating all the characters as actual human beings to keep them relatable despite their entitlement. He also got a lot of mileage out of improv, having his cast stay in character even when they weren't being filmed.
Oh, that's fun.
Wanted to shoot was 360. We were all mic'd all the time. We were always improvising.
The entire cast never left the set, not even during other people's close-ups. And with multiple cameras running, Mylod found extra shots to use during editing he didn't even know he had. Hong Chow called Leguizamo the best improviser. He and Felicity's actor, Amy Carrero, came up with one of the funniest exchanges on their own.
I wrote a negative recommendation to Sony.
I know you CC'd me on it.
On her way back to the restaurant, Margot takes a detour to Slowick's private cottage and finds out it features a full-on replica of Hawthorne's kitchen. She's cornered by Elsa, who's jealous of all the attention she's been given by Chef. The militaristic maitre d' has considered Margot unworthy from the get-go, with regular reminders that she's not meant to be here.
Miss Mills, you will be sitting in Miss Westervelt's seat.
Elsa's played by Hong Chow in what may be the standout performance in a movie with a lot of great performances.
1000%.
She really sells the cracks in Elsa's composure when her jealousy over Chef gets the best of her. Chow received an Oscar nom for The Whale the same year The Menu was released, and, in an honor exactly on the same level, was nominated for a Prime Rib for Best Supporting Actor at last year's Dead Meat
Oh,
Horror
nice. I
Awards.
missed
Elsa
that.
attacks Margot with a knife, kicking off an extended kitchen brawl. Margot manages to gain the upper hand with a Paco jet and downsizes Elsa's role on the staff with a stab to the throat. Her last words are insisting that she didn't forget the barrel, a sad, dying devotion to her chef. While Slowick has some compelling points, I think the movie makes it clear that he's also full of shit. Everything he does is fascistic, meant to conform to the sacred way he thinks food should be made and served. He talks about the importance of nature, but has effectively bent the whole island to the whims of his restaurant. The guy's so self-important, he even compares himself to MLK.
Did he just quote Martin Luther King?
He sure did.
A deleted scene actually has Margot calling him out for this, asking him why he doesn't run a soup kitchen if he's so miserable. His answer is characteristically evasive.
Why do we do the things we do?
Margot keeps poking around the cottage and discovers a room full of photos from Slowick's past. He seems much happier in these pictures, especially in an Employee of the Month award from a burger joint, possibly his first ever kitchen job. She also finds a radio and uses it to call for help from the mainland. It appears to pay off as they see the Coast Guard arriving for a restaurant rescue. The chefs try to tidy, bandaging and bibbing up their patrons, but a secret note Leguizamo slips to the officer leads to a supper-time standoff. It's a moment of immense relief for the dinner guests when Chef Slowick is forced to his knees. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the whole thing was just a bit of dinner theater. And
Sure
the
was.
guardsman, nothing but an undercover cook. It's a crushing defeat, but Margot's got one last trick up her sleeveless dress. She'll rebel on Slowik's terms, restaurant terms.
I don't like your food.
What did you say?
I said, I don't like your food, and I would like to send it back.
She rips into Chef's cooking, calling it obsessive and pretentious, and says he's taken the joy out of eating. She implies he's a failure of an artist, whose intellectual detachment has left her hungry in every way. She challenges him to prove her wrong by cooking something simple and filling.
A real cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Not some fancy deconstructed avant bullshit, a real cheeseburger.
Slowik can't resist taking the bait and fries up a burger for her. Damn, she getting a double-double? Well, the previous courses had their presentations and plating filmed with passion. This is the only time we see the actual cooking of food filmed with the same love. Unless you count Tyler's bullshit. Margot confirms the burger tastes as good as it looks, but says she can only manage a single bite.
Unfortunately, I think my eyes were a little bigger than my stomach.
Well, that's just a bold-faced lie. She asks to take the rest to go, a request that might as well be spitting on the floor in certain fancy restaurants. But in the spirit of the moment, Chef makes her a box. The Queen's Gambit worked, and Margot has found a way to read
Queen's
this
Gambit.
case. All she had to do was give Chef Slowik one final taste of the joy he once felt cooking. While Margot commandeers the fake Coast Guard boat, the rest of the patrons accept their fate. They even pay for the bill, gratuity included, of course, as the restaurant staff prepares for the final course. They begin to plate dessert on the floor and tables themselves, a move inspired by Grant Achatz's deconstructed dessert at the 3 Michelin star Alinea in Chicago. I don't think Alinea had marshmallow cows or cute little chocolate
Frickin'
cats.
s'mores, turning
Reference is
everybody
brought
to
life in large
s'mores.
part by production designer Ethan Taubman, who rigorously planned and reverse engineered what it would end up looking like on set. The marshmallow ponchos were made by costume designer Amy Westcott, who also worked on Black Swan. They used thousands of real, actual marshmallows individually glued together. Westcott, who is director Mylad's wife, made them by hand with a team that included their kids.
Wow, that's great.
Speak to me.
Slowik says dessert was inspired by the s'more, a collection of cheap, overprocessed food made delicious via fire. Slowik's whole spiel here was inspired by Ralph Fiennes' honest reaction to learning what a s'more was.
I didn't know what the fuck a s'more was.
Oh!
I said to them, no one outside the US knows what a s'more is. So I riffed what I thought the chef might say about a s'more.
The writers liked it, so they expanded
Nailed
it
it.
into a full monologue. Slowik reminds the patrons that they represent the ruin of his art and life, and with one last dedication to his staff,
I love you all.
Slowik sets himself, his restaurant, and everyone inside ablaze. As the guests are cooked to perfection, the mystery barrel retrieved by Margot ignites, blowing up the restaurant and everyone inside. Our count of 31 here includes all the guests, the chefs, the waitstaff, and the sommelier. The fireball is witnessed by Margot from the boat. The movie ends with her wiping her mouth with the titular menu and taking a big old bite of beef. How many kills did one dinner ticket entitle us to see? Let's find out at the numbers.
Oh!
Hey, what is this?
A special bite for reaching the end of the kill count.
Oh!
Thank you.
All right, what is that? What? Is that ice cream or?
Oh.
What?
Oh, you really did that. This is good. Thank you.
All right. Well, that was very nice. Was expecting
35
that.
people died in the menu, with the dessert course taking out a whopping 31 of them. The victims consisted of 24 men and 11 women, giving us this deconstructed take on a pie chart. Though the ratio is new, we have seen 35 kills twice before in Freddy vs. Jason and Day of the Dead. With a runtime of 107 minutes, the menu gave us a kill on average just about every 3 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to the dessert course. A menu as ambitious as this one needs a flashy finale, and this S'mores massacre was more than fitting. Dull Machete for lamest kill will go to Doug Varick. It wasn't a bad kill, but we'd never seen this guy before, and we had to watch him die from afar.
Yeah,
and that's
no
it.
attachment.
The menu was released in 2022 and received 4 nominations at the Dead Meat Horror Awards. Go watch those if you haven't, and get ready for the next one on March 3rd. Until next time, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Hey everybody, thanks a lot for watching the Menu Kill Count. This is James Gressel.
Hi,
Hey,
everybody. I
hey.
host D&D that James plugged in the intro.
That's right, and also lives with me.
Yes.
And what am I eating here, dude?
That is a Passard egg, which is, I think, what they feature in the movie, if I remember right. It's a hot and cold egg of creme fraiche and egg yolk that's been lightly poached with some maple syrup and chives.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, this is actually really good.
Good. I'm glad.
Yes, where can people find D&D?
You can find it on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
And it's been going for
5 years. Season 6
Wow,
is about to
very
start.
nice.
Coming soon, so plenty of time to catch up or dive right in if you want to get in at the end
That
of
would
the
be
story.
insane. That would be insane.
No, start at the beginning.
Yeah, start at the beginning. I'm Flack Tansen. I'm a gnome bard. And Chelsea's in there. And our good friends Mike and Beth are in there. It's a great story. Got a lovely fan base. If you're already a fan, thank you.
Yes,
That's
thank
the
you
best.
very much.
All right, well, thank you for the egg.
Yeah.
And for helping me with the To the Numbers bit. I'm so, it's hard to keep coming up with them. Oh, also real fast, I'm supposed to plug the new merch. We got Valentine's merch at deadmeatstore.com. Go check it out. Looks really cool. Looks
Very
like
nice.
this. Okay, you got a good look? Great. Back to me and Gressel for the sign off. Be
Yeah,
good people.
All right, yeah, this movie was a blast to watch. It was very well acted. So nice to see that the background of everything with the production and all that looked very, very fun, very friendly. That's always very cool to see. Definitely would help to bring more out of the actors and actresses participating in it. Everybody, again, was just fantastic. The kills were amazing. And as I said, like, I love movies where things aren't exactly what they seem. And then, like, the moment, you know, that first thing hits, it's like, then okay. And then, like, you can see the realization settling in on all the characters involved. Like, oh my God, what's happening here? And then things just slowly devolved the way that they did, and the way they handled it was perfect. It kind of felt pretty realistic, if you ask me. They would probably try to ask for help from somebody, try to break through the window, not knowing what it's made out of or how strong the glass actually is. And it also helps with the fact that over like the past couple of years, I've become, I don't know if obsessed is the right word, but really becoming a huge fan of like cooking shows. More specifically, Gordon Ramsay cooking shows, like watching all of Hell's Kitchen, Master Chef, Next Level Chef was a new show, Kitchen Nightmares, all of them. I absolutely love them. I kind of keep them on in the background as I'm like editing stuff, and I'm always seeing like the crazy dishes all these people come up with. So I wouldn't say I'm a foodie, but like seeing all they come up with makes me like, ooh, that would be really fun to eat. So combining that, my new love and respect for cooking and for all chefs around the world with horror and suspense and all the cool stuff that was going on here. Perfect combination for me. I cannot recommend this movie enough, but that will do it for me here. Comment down below, let me know what did you think about the menu. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Please check all those links I have for you down in the description below. And lastly, and most importantly, I want to give a huge shout out to all my $5 and up supporters on Patreon: Luchador, Cruising, Wolverine 310, Jordan Bird, Kester Crodich, Amber K, Raymond Bright, Joshy, Chris Curtis, Haley Machinardi, Ann Perry, Larka, Fox Cacophony, Leo Harris, and Morgan Page. And I'll see you guys next time.